U.S. Special Envoy Tim Lenderking has concluded a regional visit as part of a joint UN-U.S. mission aiming at mobilizing efforts to resolve the crisis of the aging oil tanker Safer. He also urged Houthis to fully cooperate and facilitate international efforts in this regard. The following report has more details on this.
At the end of a 3-week trip by the U.S. Special Envoy for Yemen, Tim Lenderking, to Saudi Arabia, Jordan, the United Arab Emirates, Kuwait, and Qatar, there has been a U.S. diplomatic effort to yield tangible results that improve the lives of Yemenis and advance peace. The U.S. supported the UN efforts to achieve a 2-month ceasefire, which began on April 2, and aimed to give Yemenis immediate respite by facilitating the movement of people and goods, including fuel. The U.S. Special Envoy Tim Lenderking has urged the parties to abide by the UN truce terms in order to pave the way for a viable long-term resolution to the conflict. Over the past years, the Special Envoy has tried to reach an inexclusive Yemeni-led efforts to reform Yemen's government to ensure it meets the needs of all citizens and responds to their demands for justice, accountability, and redress for human rights violations and abuses.
The United States remains concerned with the UN's estimated $3.9 billion funding gap in 2022, and we continue to urge donors to fulfill their pledges to the people of Yemen and to step up to give generously. In terms of U.S. economic support, we continue to advocate with other partners to provide economic support to advance critical reforms to address the issues of salaries, infrastructure, and to address the fuel crisis.
Throughout his trip, Lenderking advocated for additional humanitarian assistance to help close funding gaps that have reduced life-saving assistance for millions of Yemenis, as well as additional economic assistance to address Yemen's growing economic crisis. In addition, the Special Envoy concluded his trip by joining a UN-led mission to raise awareness about the threat posed by the aging Safer oil tanker and raise funds for an emergency UN plan to prevent the devastating regional economic, humanitarian, and environmental consequences of a spill. Also, David Gressly, the UN's resident and humanitarian coordinator for Yemen, added that they cannot wait for those discussions to conclude before safeguarding the oil in a temporary vessel. He also added that there are several options as what would happen to Safer itself, which as a floating storage and offloading vessel is obsolete.
I just finished participating in a UN-led mission to help raise awareness about the urgent need to address the imminent economic, humanitarian, and environmental threats the Safer oil tanker poses to the region. The Safer is sitting off the coast of Yemen with 1.1 million barrels of oil on board. It has not been maintained for 7 years because of the war in Yemen.
According to the U.S. State Department, Yemenis are expressing cautious optimism for the first time in years as a result of the constructive steps in recent weeks. All parties to the conflict must answer Yemenis' demands for peace by choosing dialogue over destruction and cooperating with UN-led peace efforts. In the end, the Yemeni people seek to have a better future and a safe life where everyone can live with no danger.